Round of the playoffs has been this: if you win the season series, you lose the first game of the playoffs. 4 times that scenario applies, and 4 times that's the way it's happened. But the Houston Rockets are trying to end that trend tonight. They have a 58-47 lead over the Portland Trail Blazers after sweeping the season series against the Blazers 4 games to none. Earlier tonight, the New York Knicks took game 1 against the New Jersey Nets, who had beaten them 4 out of 5 during the regular season. 91-80 the final, as Ewing had 25 points, 13 boards. Derek Coleman led him with 27. And Chicago, in a struggle with Mike Fratello's guys, who are really banged up, but they hung with him for about 43 of the 48 minutes in this game. 104-96, big night for Scottie Pippen, 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. Coming up next on TNT, Game 2 of our doubleheader, Golden State and Phoenix from America West. It's next.
Welcome to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, Game 1 in a best-of-5 first-round series between the Golden State Warriors and the defending Western Conference champions, the Phoenix Suns. Hi again, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. We're expecting a Wild West shootout. The 2 highest-scoring teams in the NBA. 2 explosive teams going here tonight, and working with me is Jack Gibbons. Paul Westphal, the Suns coach, said this is the toughest matchup in the entire first round, East or West.
Well, Gary, I think 2 things working here as Paul makes that statement. Number 1, he wants to make sure his team doesn't get off to the start they got off to last year in the playoffs, falling behind the Lakers 2-zip. The other thing, though, is I think he's legitimately concerned. This is a very good Golden State team. They're offensively very potent. It starts with their 2 young guys, Chris Webber and Latrell Sprewell, excellent players. They are both very capable of carrying Golden State to a win here tonight.
Well, the Suns want to return to the NBA Finals, but for that to happen, Charles Barkley has to have Charles Barkley-type numbers.
Well, Charles finally says he's healthy and he's feeling good. He's finished up the season playing pretty well, but still his numbers are down from what they were last year. You see here, about 26 points a game, now 21, but he's doing so many other things. Yes, Barkley has to be ready. He has to make some shots, and he needs to be focused early.
The Suns won the regular series 3 games to 2. Golden State has lost 18 straight here in the Valley of the Sun. Jack and I will be back with the introduction of the starting lineups. Game 1 coming up.
There's no place on earth.
Suns and the Warriors, and here's tonight's Chrysler Plymouth starting lineups. And what we really want to watch is the point guard matchup between Latrell Sprewell and Kevin Johnson.
Well, normally Don Nelson loves to run various lineups at you, but I think you're right. Not so much a concern in this game, but if there is an advantage as far as Golden State is concerned, is Sprewell's ability around the basket. His size could be a problem for Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson's been such a key to this team. When he goes well, the Suns play extremely well. They just follow him. But as we mentioned earlier, Barkley has to have those numbers that he produced a year ago when they went to the NBA Finals. Golden State coming in here had an 8-game winning streak snapped in the last game of the regular season, and Don Nelson with 803 wins now in a playoff for the 261st time. It's remarkable how long he has been in this coaching and playing profession. There he is, 53 years old, and his 6th year as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. And he says, I know we can win it all. This is a team with little playoff experience, especially Sprewell and Webber making their debut. Paul Westphal, who's had great patience this year with the Suns. The Suns have had injuries from time to time. He's had to go to 17 different starting lineups, and there's his record, 72%. He's been winning at that pace. Joey Crawford, Bennett Salvatore, and Terry Durham, the 3 officials, and we're ready to go. Game 1 in this best-of-5 series. The Suns, by the way, have changed their attire tonight. They're wearing black tennis shoes at home. They usually only wear those on the road.
Gary, you know, the most telling thing that I saw during warm-ups of both teams was the look on Charles Barkley's face as we see Kevin Johnson gets Sprewell up in the air. A lot of times Barkley jokes around with the crowd. He doesn't seem to be really involved in the game, but none of that before this one. He looked to be very, very intent. He was very, very ready to play this game by the look on his face.
I think he had his game face on.
I think you're right.
There was an intensity about him. There's been times this year when the Suns really played to the level of their competition. We're not focused the way Paul Westphal would like. But you sense tonight they have an edge as they come into this ball game.
It seems as though all year they have been waiting for the playoffs to get started. We'll see very quickly here if in fact that is the case.
Kevin Johnson gives the Suns the early advantage 2-0. Here's Sprewell. maybe the most surprising player in the league this year, going to the All-Star game in his second season. Billy Owens backing in on Sabalas. Cedric Sabalas had it momentarily. It's off his foot. It'll be Golden State's basketball.
Well, when you talk about Sprewell, you have to understand that a lot of this wouldn't be possible without some of the injuries that Golden State has gone through, and he has stepped in, taken advantage of it. Was in the All-Star game this year and just continues to get better.
Billy Owens has been getting better as this game wears on and the season wears on. A little jump left-handed hook that time, ties it up at 2. Billy Owens did not play in the last regular season game. He had an ankle sprain, but is healthy, Don Nelson said tonight. Kevin Johnson trying to dump it off. It'll be off of Golden State. 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, you talk about matchups. KJ, it seems, wants to make sure that he keeps Sprewell on the defensive. Don Nelson has been trying to get his team to understand that while you are young, it's not all that important in this first game.
Rejected by Chris Webber. Did you see the yell he let out after he blocked that one? You think Chris Webber isn't wired? He is really fired up in the early going.
And I think anything he can do early in this ball game that's a positive is going to help him over the long run. I think this Golden State team is going to be loose. I think they're going to come in and try to steal one. They have no pressure.
And Barkley tried to steal it there, and it's blocked this time by Mark West. And we're going to have a foul. West with good help defense that time.
West is saying, young fella, it can happen the same way on the other end.
And Webber picks up the foul.
Yeah, watch, he comes over from the weak side here, doing a good job away from the basketball. And you couldn't hear him scream, but everyone else in the building did.
You could see him scream. He had that mouth wide open. Here's Barkley against Webber. They'll change guys on Barkley tonight. They don't want to get Webber in foul trouble. They'll alternate people as Chris Mullin has been shooting like the Mullin of old. Buries that one. He has struggled early in this year after injuring the little finger on his right hand. And now all of a sudden Mullin is Chris Mullin again, shooting so very well.
Yeah, the problem is he probably came back about a month too soon.
And that'll go over the back. It'll be Golden State's basketball.
Golden State will play Charles Barkley early in this game straight up. They will not run the double teams. Charles is so good at throwing out of the double team. They'll see if he's going to get going. If he starts making shots, that's when the double team will come.
Latrell Sprewell not able to do it. Chris Gatling tries to follow Barkley with the rebound. Out it comes to Kevin Johnson. Johnson so creative in the open floor. And back it comes to Sprewell. You don't think transition defense isn't important here tonight?
And you have to find your man early. I mean, if you don't get your man by the time they get to half court, you're going to be beaten.
Get your head on a swivel here tonight. Then it comes to Gatling, who started the last 12 games at the center spot. They call him the Energizer. That's an air ball. Sabatos with the rebound. Kevin Johnson this year had a high of 25 assists, which led the entire NBA as Webber tried to save it off of Barkley. Barkley collects it and has it. That works against just average players, but you can't do that very often against the superstars.
Well, the thing is, you never should save the ball back in bounds under the opponent's basket. I know that's the easy thing to do, and you always think you can throw it off, but 9 times out of 10, you get up the easy basket.
Well, they were trying to set up a two-man game there. It didn't work well. Let's look at this again.
Now, here's Webber. He's going to try to get the ball off of Barkley's leg. Makes a good effort. And as I say, Webber's going to have to remain positive early in this ball game.
Webber is the youngest player to play in the playoffs since Magic Johnson. 21 years old, the youngest player, and there's going to be goaltending. Billy Owens got a piece of Dan Marley's shot, and the Suns now with an 8-4 lead.
I really think Sprewell is going to have to come up and pressure Kevin Johnson as soon as he comes across half court. He can't allow him to make the direct entry pass as he did that time.
Last time the two teams met, Sprewell was not playing the point. And there is a shot missing by Billy Owens. It'll be off of the Suns.
Well, and it seems as though the Phoenix Suns are a little bit too aggressive in this game early. Twice now they have kicked the ball out of bounds after one of the other guys had the rebound.
But I think Paul Westphal will take that. He realizes his team is focused in the early going, and that's been a problem from time to time. Sprewell creating a Gatling as he ducks inside. And we're going to have a foul as Joey Crawford whistles that one on Mark West.
West is one that will go for a lot of blocks. He loves to come over from the weak side. You saw it early. Now you see him trying to play Sprewell. And Gatling, you mentioned, has played very well. He's shooting the ball amazing consistently well the second half of the season, well above 55%.
He plays above the rim a lot. He gets him some athleticism in that area. This is the poorest free throw shooting team in the NBA.
Yeah, so
Golden State really struggles from the free throw line, shooting 66%. Barkley's not struggling there, though. Barkley with 4 points of the ball game, 10-6 Phoenix. Here's Sprewell. Look at his quickness. Off it comes to Weber. There are two of the finest young stars in the NBA. Look at the look on Weber.
Is he trying to make a statement or what?
Look at him. He's still making the expression at the other end. You know, he dunked on Barkley in the first game this year, and that's been a shoe commercial they've been using from time to time. So these two are aware of each other. Zabalas going inside, and that ball deflected with the offense, Cedric. It'll go back to Golden State.
Well, here's Weber, and while the play itself is very impressive, I think the look afterwards is even more impressive. Watch him right here. Statement time early in the game.
That look could kill, couldn't it? 10-8, the Suns by 2. Look at Weber. Boy, he's playing with some confidence. Remember, he's only 21 years old. Off it comes to Sprewell, and Sprewell, who Don Nelson says someday will lead the NBA in three-point shooting. That's the kind of range he has.
Well, he is playing with a lot of confidence. Now, that's better defense on KJ. You saw him get the hand up and force the miss.
And we're going to have another foul on Mark West. That will be his second. All 5 of the starters for Golden State have scored in this early going. As Oliver Miller now will have to come into the ball game. West will sit down with 2 fouls. Now, Miller did not play the last 2 regular season games because of a bulging disc in his back. He has worked out all week and says he feels fine. It'll be interesting to see how he responds.
Well, it's so important for him to keep his weight down. He is down now to where he can play and can be effective.
Sprewell changing the shot and drawing the foul. He is so much fun to watch. This guy led the NBA in minutes played, 43.1. As Don Nelson told me one time, we can't afford to take him out for 2 minutes. We get in trouble.
Well, maybe the most impressive thing about Sprewell is the fact that he made the All-Star team and was not even on the ballot. Hadn't happened since Bill Laimbeer a lot of years ago. Got into the All-Star game, but that's the respect he has around the league.
You see what he's done this year, averaging 21 points a game. Look at these minutes now. We're showing you Sprewell. That averages out to 43.1. Then Malone, Elijah Wan, Robinson, O'Neal. That's pretty fast company.
Well, he definitely deserves everything that he's getting right now. He has been the man for this Golden State team. I don't know where they would be without him.
Here they come with some full court pressure. That last foul was on Oliver Miller. They break it quickly. Barkley is going to be fouled by Gatley. You talk about absolutely stripping a full court pressure situation as well as you can do it. That was beautifully done. Hardly dribbled the ball.
I don't know if the ball even touched the floor. Right here, Oliver Miller gets the outlet pass. Now that's what he can do for this team. Miller, an excellent passer with his size and the long arms. He sees the floor so well. But the ball didn't touch the floor one time, and Barkley has a chance for a three-point play.
Charles Barkley was 6 points in the ball game. Barkley's had his lowest output statistically he's had in 8 years scoring-wise, averaging 21.6. Last year as the MVP averaged 25.6. But I see the Barkley here tonight that we saw last season. The same verve, the same intensity, and he's ready here tonight. 13-12, Suns by 1. Here's Mullen, and when you're shooting well, you take those shots. But that one didn't go as Mullen comes up with a rebound. And that'll be traveling. He came back down with it.
Now they'll jump it because someone did get a hand on it. Someone got a hand on it, so they'll call the jump ball.
And so a timeout now called by Phoenix. The crowd doesn't like the jump, but that's what we'll have when we come back. The Suns by 1. The reason we're talking about Latrell Sprewell being a real surprise, look at the 92 draft. Shaq, of course, is first. Alonzo. Sprewell was all the way down 24th.
Well, what a steal.
And what a steal he has been.
Well, one of the keys to being as successful as he has been is wanting the ball. Watch him here with that. He is moving, trying to get everyone's attention. Does not get it here, but he gets it an awful lot.
Sprewell could have been with the Phoenix Suns. The Suns, had they not taken Oliver Miller in the 22nd pick in the first round, we're going to take Sprewell second. You see the numbers thus far. The Suns shooting 50%. Golden State was the leading field goal shooting team in the regular season. Phoenix by 1, 6:44 to go, first quarter. Barkley gets Weber in the air, and as it goes in, he's able to get that shot to go and draw the foul at the same time.
He just showed the ball so nicely to Chris Weber, and Weber going for the blocks. He's wanting to try to play his best against Charles Barkley, and he just shows him the ball. Watch right here. He puts it up in the air, gets Weber, and then Barkley wants to eat the basket up right here, takes the ball right to Gatlin, and has the chance for yet another three-point play.
Gatlin committed his second foul. Cedric Sabalos has been assessed a technical. I certainly did not see all of that activity going on, but Cedric gets the tee, and so Chris Mullen will shoot the technical.
Well, I think what happened was after the play, he and Weber got tangled up around the basket, and he was jawing just a little bit too much.
And Barkley now is kind of policing this thing, talking to Cedric, saying, here's what happened to you, let's calm down. And Barkley will go to the line. That foul was on Gatling, his second. But you see again the experience of a Barkley. He had Weber where he wanted him.
Well, I think you're right. Weber, and I said it before, I think Weber needs to continue to try to make real positive things happen for himself. And if it means getting abused a time or two by Charles Barkley, so be it. Just as long as you are not intimidated by that and you come back and respond.
Barkley misses the free throw and hits the three. Well, that's a pretty good exchange.
That's, I tell you, it is nice to see Barkley step up and playing the way he is playing. I mean, it's a good indication that he is going to be all right in this series.
Weber overshot it, and then we got a foul on Oliver Miller. That's his second. Barkley has 12 points already in this first quarter. Now, Barkley's over talking to Miller. He right now is really settling down his ball club, which is kind of reverse of sometimes, because Charles is the guy you got to ride hurt on.
He is normally the guy to do that, but I think this early in this game, a real good example of Charles Barkley just taking the whole load of the team on his shoulders. He has been the policeman as well as getting the points. He's rebounding well. And in a game like this, you just can ill afford to lose someone. And Oliver Miller now with 2 fouls, both centers for the Phoenix Suns with 2 fouls apiece.
Well, they can go 3 deep. They have Joe Klein as well. But now A.C. Green, who Paul Westphal calls his MVP, comes into the ball game, and is he glad to A.C. Green wearing his uniform this year instead of playing him in the first round like he did last year when he was with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, they wanted A.C. Green. They just went out and they worked hard to get the guy, and he continues to show all the things that he can do.
When Kevin hits that shot outside, it changes everything, because then you got to respect him inside. He really causes you problems. Is that over and back? It is. And again, you can see a little bit of the jitters, a little bit of the inexperience of Golden State surfacing from time to time.
And I think the other thing that you're seeing here, even as good as Latrell Sprewell is, you're seeing their need for a point guard. Kevin Johnson can put the ball on the floor against him. His quickness is a factor, and then he can put the pressure on defense.
He gets to Barkley. Barkley with 14 is fouled again.
You know, I think another area, as you hear this crowd go crazy, where you're seeing a little bit of inexperience with this Golden State team. Now, just think about it. This is the playoffs. If you're going to take the ball to the basket, the defense has to come over, and you have to put the guy on his back. Now, this is Charles Barkley. Not easy to do, but you can't allow him to continue to have three-point opportunities.
He has 14 points. We still have 5:48 to go in the first quarter. You know what really made that work, though, was Kevin. He runs guys through picks so well. He set the thing up and got Barkley open.
Yes, he does.
23-15, the Suns with the advantage. Jeff Grayer, 44, checked in. Sprewell from outside. Rebound, Barkley over the back, calls a timeout, and he got it. He got it before he landed out of bounds.
Oh, how
He's
sharp.
doing everything right.
How sharp is he in this game?
Well, this is the Barkley that took him to the finals last year. The Barkley that was the MVP in the NBA, and the crowd knows it and senses it as we have this 20-second timeout. A lot of people have said that the hardest thing for the Suns this year was to recapture the emotion of a year ago. A new arena, a new coach, a new superstar. Tonight, you feel some of that again.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And they have been saying all year long that they can turn it on when the playoff starts. A lot of people question that. No one really believed it. But if this is any indication, these guys are proving to be prophets here, as they predicted they would be ready for the playoffs.
Well, Charles Barkley has responded. I just saw him a while ago walk over. He took a deep breath. He missed his first 2 shots and has hit his last 6. And here's the scores. The Knicks over the Nets. Chicago defeating Cleveland. And the game that's in the third quarter now, Houston leading Portland 69-57. We'll keep you updated on that on our sister station, TDS. AC Green comes down to the rebound. Kevin Johnson ducks in. Beautiful pass to Sabonis.
Once again, you might have to see Don Nelson come with a point guard that is just a little bit quicker. Moves Sprewell back to the two-guard spot. You're not only losing him on offense now, you're losing him on defense.
Jack, that's a really good point. 10-point lead now, a 15-3 run now for the Suns, and Owens is stripped as he goes up. Suns are committing quite a few fouls here in this ball game, but other than that, they have really gotten off to a remarkable start. You know, you see Sprewell and you see his versatility, so boy, you got to think about him at both ends of the floor, not just the offensive end.
I think you're right. You know, Golden State went with this bigger lineup about a month ago, and it has worked very well. They've been very successful with this starting unit, bringing Sprewell over to the point guard position. Don Nelson's so good at changing up his lineups to get the most out of his talent. But against some point guards, Sprewell, even as good as he is on defense, is going to struggle, and he has so far against Kevin Johnson.
Well, this will be a chess match, because you know Nelly will keep finding combinations.
Oh, yes.
Out it comes to Dan Marley, who led the NBA with 192 threes. That's an NBA record. Sabonis from outside. Barkley mistimed the jump, but still got it, and Weber fouled him. Weber thought he had a jump ball, but instead, Chris Webber's going to come away with his second foul. There was a case of Barkley really mistimed it, still was strong enough to come up with a rebound.
Well, you know, you have to just put a body on the guy. Now watch Barkley. Weber's going to try, but he just misses him completely. Barkley gets enough of a hand on it, and Weber with the foul. But you have to be fundamentally sound against this guy when he's having this kind of game. Keep him out of there.
15 points already in the game. Going for 16. His high this year was 38 points. He averaged against Golden State in the regular season 31-7. However, he only played in 3 of the 5 games. He's really upset missing the free throw. Barkley from the line now is 2 of 4. Charles for the year shooting 70% from the line. That's down from a year ago, and he shot 77. 10-point lead. Biggest lead of the ball game now for Phoenix. Now Barkley's having this great quarter, but still Golden State is hanging close enough that there's not enough separation as far as Phoenix is concerned. Here is Mullen, and Mullen with a running left-hander. AC Green brings it out, and that ball deflected out of bounds. It'll be the Suns' ball.
You know, at times, even though Mullen has come on and played extremely well, you can still see that he is troubled somewhat by that hand injury that he suffered early in the season. Has a little trouble hanging on to the ball at times.
He was out the first 6 weeks of the season with that little finger. They had surgery on it. Missed 20 games. There's Sprewell, his good defensive effort. There'll be 5 seconds on the shot clock as the Suns inbound. Marley will trigger it. 4:10 left now in the first quarter. Kevin, no place to go. Tried to make the pass to Sabonis. It's off of the Suns. Golden State will have it back. 26-16, 4:04 to go, first quarter. Game 1 of this best-of-5 series. The defending Western Conference champion Suns, opening at home. Here is Jeff Grayer. Owens comes down to rebound, tries to put it back. AC Green tips it over to Barkley. Look at Barkley come out of there. Off to Kevin.
When you are rebounding and getting the opportunities they're getting, it looks easy.
Timeout, Golden State. Barkley that time was in a hurry, and he set up Kevin for the easy layup.
28-16, it's been all Phoenix here early in this ball game. More specifically, it's been all Charles Barkley. He is already up to numbers that a lot of guys would be happy for to have in a game. 16 points, 8 rebounds. He gets the assist here on KJ. And Barkley got all this started with his intensity the first couple of minutes.
And so as we come back in, the Suns now will pick up Golden State as Mullen dumps it into Chris Webber. Looking at the lineups, they did not change during the break as we have 3:30 left in this first quarter.
Golden State 5 of 17 from the field. The Suns, because of the good ball movement, the penetration, 11 of 18.
Billy Owens working inside. Owens this year had a very good year. He had a career high in rebounds and assists. He came back this year in the best shape of his career. He has 5 points in this game tonight.
And while he has been injured some, he has, for the most part, been able to avoid the injuries. Haven't missed only a few games this year.
There's Kevin outside. Weber jumped on him, but Kevin's still able to hit it. Kevin Johnson averaged 20 points a game in the regular season, has 10 already tonight. Billy Owens ducks inside, and Owens takes it all the way.
Nice.
You know, he can play like a point guard. Well, Billy Owens at 6'9".
And that's the one thing that makes this Golden State team so difficult to handle. All 5 of their starters, much like the Phoenix Suns, can handle the basketball on the break.
They're really interchangeable. Here's Kevin Johnson, and they can't stop Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson, the explosive first step. He is just leaving everybody in their tracks. 32-20. Owens has a strip. Here comes Kevin again. Sabalos ahead. Suns 34-20. Billy Owens will hold it up now. 2:17 to go in the quarter. Sprewell with a 3. Barkley with his 9th rebound of the ball game.
One shot at the basket every time.
Barkley in goes to Sabalos. Strip. Sabalos tries to reload it. It's going to be off of Owens, and Owens slams the ball down. And he's very close to getting the technical. Terry Durham is over there. He's going to look past it this time.
Yeah, I think Owens is more out of frustration with what's happening with him. The fact that he missed the shot down on the other end, he thought he should have had that one.
Keith Jennings comes in. They're going to try to find somebody that can stay with Kevin Johnson. Coming out is Chris Webber, and now also Byron Houston, who does a good job defensively in the years and games past against Charles Barkley.
Well, I think as you see this fast break here, Don Nelson really trying to work on the psyche of the Phoenix Suns. He is not only going small, he's going very small. He took Chris Webber out of the game, and now Paul Westphal has to answer that. He is going to have to drop down just a little bit in size, so he comes with Frankie Johnson. Maybe that will give Golden State an opportunity to get some second shots at the basket here.
That's part of that chess match we're talking about. You got to counter what Nelson does. Did he get it in time? He did not. A 5-second count on Frank Johnson. Didn't get it in time. It goes to Golden State.
The problem is Phoenix had used up their 20-second timeout.
Remember, that was when Barkley saved the ball and called it midair earlier in the ball game. Here's Keith Jennings. He's been playing a lot as of late. Last ball game, he had a career high 15 assists. He's not very big, but he plays very well at 5'7".
Yes, he does.
And there is Frank Johnson coming up with a steal to Marley. Marley is going to have a blocking foul on Keith Jennings. Jennings flopping back, hoping to get the charge, but instead he picks up his first foul of the ball game.
Now, this Phoenix team, a very, very experienced ball club. Marley has not been in the mix on offense so much, for the most part, in this ball game. They know that they're going to need him. So they made sure they got him the ball and made sure that he had an opportunity to try to get to the hole.
Marley with his 3rd point of the night, and there's an update. Houston still leading the Blazers 79-70. That's that first-round ball game in the Summit. Dan Marley this year shot 74% from the free throw line. He led the team in minutes, just a little over 40 minutes per game. He is one of those guys like Sprewell. He just wants to be out there every minute. 36-20, Suns' biggest lead of the ball game. Sprewell ducking in on Kevin Johnson. Blocked from behind by Marley, but nice effort by Billy Owens, who stepped up and put it up and in.
Well, I think Sprewell with the hang time was able to stay up there long enough to find someone to pass it to. Good double team coming over from Phoenix that time.
Barkley backing in on Houston. Byron Houston, big, strong, nasty defender. He plays Barkley usually very well, but he didn't do it there.
No, but see, the thing is, if you're going to be strong and if you're going to be physical, he's got to lay that body on Barkley and not let him get to the paint. You give him the paint, he's going to score in this particular ball game especially.
Barkley now with 18 points in the ball game. Sprewell, that's a hurried shot. And we're going to have a loose ball foul, and it's going to go against Barkley or Marley. Let's see. It's going to be Dan Marley. Marley picking up the foul.
Well, Houston, you talked about how big he was. You see Marley right there, but you talk about how strong this guy is. And he is going to have to continue to do just what he's doing. As I said, he has to put the body on Barkley and keep him out of the paint, but he's going to have to find a way to get some second chance opportunities.
I'll tell you, Jack, he's got a big enough body to put on somebody.
Yes, he does.
He weighs, they say, 250. He might be even bigger than that. He looks bigger than he was earlier in the year. He's 6'5". He has an 84-inch wingspan. which really helps him when he plays defense. 54 seconds left in the quarter. The Suns lead at 38-22. Kevin Johnson just wheeling inside, and Chris Mullen had a hand on it. 9 seconds on the shot clock. A three by Kevin. And Barkley tips it out, tries to save it. He goes over the bench, but he's going to be all right.
I tell you, you have to wonder now, Barkley is not going to want to come out of this game. He's playing so well, but you can't use up all of his energy.
That's right. He's already got a double-double, and we haven't even played a quarter. 18 points, 10 rebounds. And Keith Jennings goes in, and I think Marley picked up his second foul. See, that's what Jennings gives him, is that quickness and a matchup problem, even though he's only 5'7".
But the real question is whether or not Don Nelson over there on the Golden State bench waited too long to get him in. Marley picks up his second foul. He's going to have to sit down.
Danny Ainge is going to come in with 28 seconds left in the quarter. Jennings is a very good free throw shooter, shooting 83%, missed there. They've had 2 free throw gurus this year. Golden State trying to somehow get their free throw situation resolved. They may have to hire some more of them. They're not working.
Well, with the time that they're going to need to spend on the free throw line, they better have both there at the same time.
Okay, they are 6 of 11 tonight, shooting 66% for the year from the free throw line. You follow Orlando. You went through a long year free throw shooting wise there.
Well, if it were not for Golden State, the Magic would have finished last. So thanks a lot to this team for keeping them out of the cellar there.
So Jennings gets the second one, 28 seconds left. Danny Ainge into the game, as we mentioned a moment ago. Barkley with his powerful first quarter, giving the Suns the advantage. Kevin Johnson riding in on Keith Jennings, and rebound by Barkley, his 11th of the game.
Well, that's the quickness there that Jennings will give them. He will be able to stay in front of Kevin Johnson on a play like that.
Barkley may just put this one up.
Yeah, he normally
Here we
does.
go. Not there. Rebound by Sprewell, and the first quarter has come to a close. And what a quarter by this guy, Sir Charles. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. And the guy who we said needed to put some Charles Barkley-type numbers up has started out in very impressive fashion. 38-23, Suns with the lead. The America West Arena in the Valley of the Sun voted this week as the best arena in the NBA. The Suns also voted to have the best uniforms in the NBA in a poll taken this week. And the Suns with a very good first quarter, 38-23 lead. Barkley 18 points, 11 rebounds. And look at the fast break points for the Suns.
Well, Golden State just has not been able to dominate on the boards at all on either end, and that, of course, has taken away from their opportunities to get out on the break.
Chris Mullen, and Mullen and that one go all the way in and kick out. A.C. Green tried to track it down. Will be off of him. You know, we mentioned Charles Barkley, but Jack, how about Kevin Johnson? He had 12 points and 5 assists in that first quarter.
Well, he got going. He kept Sprewell on the defensive early, and I think Sprewell realized that it was going to be a tough matchup. KJ saw that as well and took the ball right to the basket against him a lot.
Danny Ainge trying to track Mullen. Here is Sprewell. Got Sabatos up in the air. Barkley bats it ahead. Keith Jennings retrieves it, but here comes A.C. Green. A.C. Green always hustling into Sabatos. Sabatos can load it up and shoot it in a hurry.
You're talking about a guy that's just tremendous around the basket. Sabatos, not a real good leaper when he gets it around there, but he's so quick and he's so creative on offense.
Boy, he can really get that release going. Biggest lead of the ball game for the Suns now, 40-23. Out it comes to Frank Johnson. Frank Johnson played so well in the playoffs last year. Went through an injury siege. Back to full strength now. Here's Danny Ainge. Ainge in his 174th playoff game and leads all the Suns. And Byron Houston's got to be careful of the elbow there. Out it comes to Sprewell. Sprewell, the running one-hander. Owens with a follow, and we've got a foul.
Frankie Johnson, he's calling for a loose ball foul. I think he will get it just simply because.
That was a good effort by Billy Owens. I don't know how he reached back so far to be able to even get a hand on the ball.
Well, Owens didn't have 2 hands on it. That's the only reason why he's not on the free throw line right now.
Foul on Frank Johnson is his first, and it comes to Byron Houston. 10:40 to go. Gary Bender, Jack Coos-Gibbons from the America West Arena. Game 1 of this best-of-5 series. Earlier today, the Knicks picking up a victory against the Nets, and the Bulls beating Cleveland. There's Avery Johnson, who just checked in. Avery was the starter most of this year, and then they made that change to Sprewell. And Avery, a co-captain for the Golden State Warriors.
Tremendous respect the other guys on the team have for AJ.
He started 70 games this year. Of course, he played against the Suns last year in the playoffs with San Antonio. 7 seconds on the shot clock. And AC Green, who won 2 rings playing with the Los Angeles Lakers, gets one there.
Well, I think he was upset he didn't get the foul call. He thought he got hit on the arm. He made the bucket anyway.
Sprewell continues to shoot the 3, and it's just not there for him tonight.
Yeah, look at the shot selection that Golden State is taking right now. Then the other thing is Phoenix has been out on the break so much, Golden State retreating as soon as the ball goes up. They're not even trying to get to the offensive board.
Ainge thought that ball was tipped, but it's going to be off of Danny Ainge. It'll go to Golden State. We have a timeout. 9:41 left in the first half. The Suns off to a tremendous start.
Golden State trying to get Chris Mullin involved in the offense here. He is trying to post up against Danny Ainge. Ainge does a pretty decent job, but now he sees he cannot get it. He just clears out and allows Avery Johnson to get to the basket. AJ can do a lot of things. You're talking about a guy that has come on and continues to improve each season. Since he came into the NBA, his numbers have increased for 5 straight years.
Well, Paul Westphal said he'd have a tough time finding minutes for Danny Ainge in this series because of the matchup problems he would have defensively against guys like AJ.
I think that is true also for Joe Klein. You mentioned he is another center that this team can go to, but he does not match up real well, so I don't know how many minutes he'll get in this ballgame.
Saw the numbers a while ago, what the Suns are shooting extremely well, 59%. They were 4th in the NBA in shooting. As we mentioned, Golden State led the entire league. And it comes to Barkley. Barkley operating on Weber, got him up. Weber committed the foul. No, they're going to call it on Barkley, leaning in. Wow, Terry Durham is now catching the wrath from Charles Barkley. That's his first foul. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting Weber up in the air. Let's look at it again. Does he step in? Weber up and straight down, and I guess that's what Terry Durham saw, but Barkley is saying, hey, this is my building, man. I'm supposed to get that call.
And I'm a superstar. This guy's a rookie, and now he tries to draw the foul on Weber and Mullin on the retrieve and the putback. 42-27. Now, one thing about Charles, he does sense the moment, and sometimes he knows when to get upset, but he also can lose his focus when he gets really upset, and he has had tremendous focus in the early going of this ball game.
Well, you can bet if there's any contact here, he's going to get the call.
And Barkley in. Weber trying to lay off. He didn't want to commit the foul. He has 2 already, and that now is 20 points in the game for Sir Charles. 44-27, Phoenix. 8:26 to go in the first half. Avery Johnson with a right-handed shot. He's a left-hander, but he got that one. What a great character Avery Johnson is. Wonderful man to be around. He was the 9th of 10 children in his family. He's fought uphill a lot in his life. 8 minutes left in this first half. Barkley has Weber deep. And again, Barkley, followed by Sabonis, and out it comes to Owens. I tell you, Weber's really afraid to pick up that 3rd foul. He's really been hindered in trying to guard Barkley. Out it comes to Sabonis. Mullin almost intercepted, but he couldn't get there.
Well, they are just looking up the floor. Is Phoenix right now? They are making sure every time down they have gotten the ball in the paint. The percentages are very high on offense.
46-29. Now, if you're wondering how many points the Suns have scored this year in the first half, they had 81 in a game earlier this year against Washington. So they're not going to get there, but they are having a huge first half in the playoffs.
I don't know that they really need to get that to make the statement that they want to make to this young Golden State team. And I think to themselves, they want to make sure that they come in and not allow what happened last year against the Lakers happen here.
Frank Johnson committed his 2nd foul. Barkley comes out. Mark West is in. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Player of the Game, and Budweiser will donate $1,000 in his behalf to the United Negro College Fund. Here comes Danny Ainge with the ball.
Another steal for the Phoenix Suns. They are anticipating passes. They are in the passing lane, and nothing easy on offense for Golden State in their half-court game.
And that's the 8th turnover now against the Warriors. 8 seconds on the shot clock. West, who came in to give Barkley a relief. And we're going to have a foul on Avery Johnson reaching in on Mark West. As now Jeff Grayer will come back into the ball game for the Warriors. And Chris Mullen looks like he may come out for a while as we have a timeout. 6:59 to go in the first half. The Suns 46, the Warriors 29.
Charles Barkley rests in that back as he takes a breather here, putting the heat pad on there, just stretching. Watch right here. He got called for the offensive foul to play before this. Probably this is a better time to call him offensive. Watch the hook. But no way he's going to get called twice in a row in this game, in this building. He is playing very well for the Phoenix Suns. 20 points, 13 rebounds already in this ballgame.
Suns are shooting 58% from the field. The Warriors 37%. We come back in. Ainge, Frank Johnson, A.C. Green, Sabonis, and West in for Ball Westfall. Grayer just checked in a moment ago. Chris Mullen did stay in the ballgame. Here is Mark West. Rebound by Grayer.
Well, you know what the problem is, what the thing right now for Phoenix, they're trying to get Weber to pick up that third personal foul, so they're going to West, a guy that they normally don't go to in their initial offensive set.
Billy Owens looking inside, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Weber trying to clear himself from Mark West, double on him. Avery Johnson changed the shot, West with the rebound. Here comes Frank Johnson, 34 years old. Played 7 years with the Washington Bullets, where he was drafted in the first round.
Now you look at this unit on the floor for Phoenix with Barkley on the bench, with KJ on the bench. You have to see where they're going to go for offense now. They're trying so hard to get West to entice Weber into picking up foul number 3.
And he did, and you saw Barkley jump up. He's coming back in as Avery Johnson collapsing back. It's twice now he's been back in the face of Mark West, and this time West with his third foul.
Well, and I thought Avery Johnson made a good play the last time when he dropped back in there and tied up West. He got called for the foul. This time he gets it to go the other way.
Avery Johnson is 6th year. Really mentally tough. Had his finest year this year. Career numbers. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Okay.
Off it comes to Sprewell. Sprewell with a 3, and he got one.
Well, that's about as open as he's been, but he's going to make them. He was able to measure it up very well that time.
He had missed his first 2 and finally gets one. 46-32. 5.5 minutes left in the first half. Danny Ainge, beautiful play.
Sabonis, beautiful play.
Sabonis has the ability to lose you in the baseline area. He's so creative there.
Well, give Barkley a lot of credit. He came over late, a good body on Sprewell, and would not allow him to get to Sabonis.
Sprewell lost it out of bounds there. That was kind of an interesting sequence. Latrell didn't really react very well when that ball was behind him. By the time he did, he lost it. It'll go to the Suns.
I think you have to look at Kevin Johnson and give him responsible as you look at this Houston score. Portland down by just 5. KJ got him on the defensive.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I just don't think he's in the flow on offense, not even really thinking about his offense.
You mentioned Kevin Johnson. He's come back into the game. 5 minutes left in the first half. Kevin Johnson with Grayer. Grayer can't stay with him, and Grayer commits a foul.
Well, see, somehow they are getting switched up there. You look at this team on the floor, and Avery Johnson, of course, is the guy who should be guarding Kevin Johnson. I mean, KJ, he looked up and he saw Jeff Grayer on him, and he said, hey, this is a trip from me to the basket, and did not hesitate.
Well, this is the guy that Paul Westphal says is the straw that stirs Barkley's drink. In other words, he gets the ball to him. He has been the initiator all year long, but also scoring very well and going to his 3rd All-Star game this year, the first since 1991. You can see from the free throw line he's been very consistent. Kevin, in the last 18 games, has been in double figures in assists, 16 of those. Down the stretch, he was just doing a remarkable job distributing the basketball.
So I think Mullen needs to get open and find a way to get a shot here.
Grayer over the middle.
It's good that Grayer responds right there, but in a game like this, I think you just simply have to look to your main guys, and especially you have to go at experience here. That's why Mullen needs to become more involved.
Kevin jumps it into Barkley. Barkley took his eyes off the ball and lost it. You know, one thing about Grayer, he can play Barkley. He's very strong. Grayer told me he was a wrestler in high school. You never think that of a basketball player, but he's very strong.
That might be what it takes here to stop Barkley. You might have to lock him up and put him down on the ground to keep him out of it offense.
Oh, a nice touch pass from Chris Mullen, but Avery Johnson can't finish, and it's going to be off of the Suns. Barkley arguing with Dennis Salvatore, but he's going to lose that discussion. And now coming in will be Savalas and also Dan Marley for Phoenix. So Ainge and Frank Johnson will take a seat. 4:21 to go in the first half.
You know, you mentioned that Barkley sometimes gets a little bit too involved with the officials, and it takes away from other parts of his game. Right now, he's complaining a little bit. See how he responds here.
Weber takes him in deep, and that was a nice big league move by the rookie, who many people think will be Rookie of the Year. 4 points now for Chris Weber. 49-36 Phoenix. You know, Golden State's starting to stabilize a little bit now.
I think you're right. They have been able to hang around. They have fought back to get back in this ball game, down by 13.
There's Marley's foul by Chris Mullen. That'll be the first on Mullen. Dan Marley this year with 172 threes, or I should say 192 threes. Broke the old record of Vernon Maxwell of 172 in 90-91. He wanted to get 200 threes, and he had to get 10 in the last game. He had one of those games that just wasn't going for him. He finally gave it up, but he had 503 attempts. That's the third most attempts in the history of the league.
All right, let's go. Stay there, Kevin.
Joey Crawford says, come on, guys, let's get lined up here.
Musical chairs going on here.
50-36 Phoenix, just inside 4 minutes left in the first half. Marley thought he missed that one. But he got a nice roll on it.
Almost over the line too soon, as he thought that one was going to be short.
51-36, the Suns.
Weber now bringing the ball up the floor.
Sprewell clears for a 2. Savalas tipped it to Weber, and Weber almost brought the goal down with that one. They're going to have a warning now. Delay a game warning against Golden State. Did that rock that standard the way he hit it? He didn't really look like he hit it that hard. He just kind of caught the front of it, and it's still jiggling down there.
Well, that's the same basket that Shaquille O'Neal brought down in this building last season.
Good thing they strengthened all those this year. Here's AC Green from outside. AC has shot 50% from the field this season.
Well, he is so steady. I mean, always shows up to play.
He brings it every night. 53-38. 3:17 left in the first half. Greer with AC Green on him. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Greer testing AC Green. Rebound Weber, and now Weber very opportunistic on the offensive boards.
Well, you see that Golden State has found a way to get some second and third shots at the basket. It's been Weber for the most part.
Weber with 8 points. Kevin Johnson. Foul, nope. Boy, Westphal thought he was, and Westphal's up fuming. They're going to have a timeout call by Golden State. Look at Paul. He thought that Kevin was manhandled. He hit very awkwardly, but I think he's going to be all right. Timeout. 53-40, the Suns.
Paul Westphal reacts to this non-call as Kevin Johnson once again gets to the basket. He's been able to do this. The real thing here is he thought it was Weber that picked up the foul. You saw the contact right there. KJ falls hard. And here is another look at it. But no call. Weber's still in the ball game. There's some body contact. Phoenix gets the ball out of bounds.
It was off of Golden State. That would have been Weber's third foul, and Westphal thought they should have had it. Up to AC Green. Green from outside. AC Green this year has averaged almost 15 points and over 9 rebounds a game. He has 6 points here tonight.
And you look at the way he plays. They haven't run a play for him yet.
They never do.
He has remained patient. He has picked his opportunities to let the ball go towards the hole. And because he shoots such a high percentage, he can afford to do that.
He was a starter first 55 games, come off the bench since then, never complained about his role, and that's a 3. Sprewell now has 2 trays in this ball game. 55-43, 10 points for Latrell.
He shoots it so easily. I mean, he's just up and just a flick of the wrist, and it's on its way.
That's the reason Nelly thinks sometime he'll lead this league in that department. There's AC again. Barkley tried to keep it alive. Here comes the little guy, Johnson. Off to Mullen. That's where he loves to shoot it. That's his spot, but it's not there, and we have a foul. That'll be on Weber. That would be his third. Loose ball foul on Weber. Boy, that is a very, very costly foul. That's one that drives the coach crazy.
Well, I think you're right. Weber picks it up here. They have been going at him for a long time, and you look at the way he gets it. Now, you know, I said Mullen needs the shot about 3 minutes ago. The problem with not getting him enough opportunities is when he does get these shots like he had there, he's rushing it. He doesn't seem relaxed. His shots are too few and far between.
Kevin Johnson just goes inside, penetrates into the left hand, makes it 57-43. Kevin with 15.
Great off the dribble. He is great off the dribble.
He has scorched a few people here tonight. Here's Weber staying in the ball game with 3 fouls. And there's Marley going for the steal, loses it out of bounds. Now he'll come out of the game.
Well, and Weber almost picked up foul number 4 on that one.
Coming up at halftime, we'll go to Atlanta. Special guest Isaiah Thomas and Ernie Johnson. Scores, highlights, nets and next scans and Bulls with an update on the first game of the Trailblazers Rocket Series. And we've got another timeout, a 22nd timeout, called by Golden State with 1:30 left in this first half.
Well, Don Nelson, he understands this is a big possession. He wants to try to get a basket here to make sure this thing doesn't get too far out of control here before the half ends. Saw this opportunity, wanted to draw something up.
Well, the thing that you see in this ball game is the Suns came out established territorial rights. They came out established control early, but Golden State getting a little more confidence, starting to fight back a little bit. Whether that's going to be enough or not, be hard to say. But Barkley came in and he drew the line in the sand here tonight, didn't he? He said, hey, this is my home place. We're the defending Western Conference champions. Get out of my way. And he comes up with a deflection there, out to Sabonis. Sprewell tries to catch him. Boy, is Sprewell fast. He caught up with Sabonis and saved 2 points.
And that's not easy to do with Sabonis. He is normally pretty sure-handed going to the basket, but Sprewell forces him to change it up, got a hand on it. Watch the double team come now on Barkley. Let's see. He is having such a big half.
Well, it hasn't come yet. Greer trying to one-on-one with him. Barkley to the cutting Sabonis. That's where Cedric gets a lot of points as they come after Barkley, and he slices inside.
Hey, why not? I mean, you just make the move to the basket. Your man is going to the double team. You're going to be open.
59-43. The Suns a minute to go in the first half. Inside, Chris Gatling, who started, but now coming back into the game, hasn't seen all that much action. And Gatling now with 6 points in the game, his first 2 in the second quarter.
I just keep expecting Golden State to come with the double team. They were going to give Barkley an opportunity early to see what kind of game he's going to have, but they're just not coming until it's too late. Barkley is so good at throwing out of that double team.
A.J. Green continues to shoot the ball well. He has 8 points. He is 4 of 5 from the field. Sprewell's another 3, and that's his 3rd of the night.
He is not going to allow this crowd to get loud again.
A lot of people feel he might make the first team All-NBA. And there goes Johnson answering with a different kind of a shot.
Boy.
Inside again, and Kevin Johnson now with 17 points.
He just had his momentum going towards the basket. Sprewell retreating after nailing that shot. He doesn't have to pick him up early. He gets it going to the hole. It's too late.
Jack, I don't know if the Suns can play any better than this. And Golden State just trying to hang in there, somehow keeping it close, respectable as they go to the halftime. Here is Greer. And look at the follow by Billy Owens. That's what's amazing about it. He can play outside and play inside. Very versatile. Here's Kevin on the move, and he's fouled with 2.8 seconds left. That would have counted had they gone. It was a continuation as Jeff Greer committed the foul.
I mean, he's just getting the ball up the floor so quickly. Takes away all opportunities to help. Owens coming in from the weak side here with the offensive rebound.
Billy Owens can play about 3 different positions. He likes to play that small forward. They had him playing the power forward earlier this year, and he didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
And so Nelly made the change as Kevin Johnson with another free throw. Johnson with 18 points. He is 4 of 5 from the line.
Well, both Billy Owens and Chris Webber have complained this year about the positioning on the floor. Webber wants to play the power forward spot. He feels like playing the center position has taken away from his game an awful lot. And then you mentioned Owens. He wants to be at that small forward position, but Don Nelson rotates him around at the 3 front positions.
Jack, how good can this team be next year with Tim Hardaway and Sarunas Marciulionis? Huh?
They
coming back as we come to the end of this first half.
I'm glad I'm not a coach and I don't have to worry about how to try to stop them.
So a 14-point lead at halftime. The Suns led by as many as 17, and Don Nelson will retool. And Barkley with a monster first half, 20 points, 13 rebounds. The Reebok halftime report coming up with Ernie Johnson and Isaiah.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok, to remind you that on Planet Reebok, there are no rules.
Halfway home in America West, where Phoenix leads Golden State by 14. I'm Ernie Johnson, along with Zeke, Isaiah Thomas. This is the Reebok Halftime Report. Earlier in the night, Isaiah, we talked about the hunger that a team feels if you've been to the finals and haven't won it and you get a chance to go back the next year. It certainly looked like Charles Barkley was famished as the way he started this game tonight.
Well, as Kevin Johnson said earlier in the interview, they couldn't wait until the playoffs started, and it showed the way Charles came out. They're ready. Charles, once he gets back to the finals, he understands that this may be his last shot at winning a championship, has a lot on his mind in terms of retirement and everything else, and he wants it. Now it's a matter of, can he transfer that same intensity, that same desire to the other 11 members on the team.
He came flying out of the gate with 18 points in the first quarter. He has 20 at the half. These teams can both light it up. And you look at the New York-New Jersey series, and it's completely the opposite. What a defensive struggle. Rarely are 100 points scored in that series. And tonight, New York takes game one over the Nets, 91-80. And a couple of key points, 2 or 3 we want to bring out about that. Number one, the job the Knicks did at the point on Kenny Anderson.
Well, their whole defense was designed to stop the penetration on Kenny Anderson. As you see, they stopped the penetration. They forced him to take a bad shot.
And as a result, that's, Kenny Anderson going 3 for 11 from the field. Another example of it here, under pressure. Let's hear from Pat Riley.
We really worked hard in making sure our rotations were solid. And, we did one little thing differently from a defensive standpoint on him. And, I think they'll read it, they'll study it, and they'll try to make some adjustments themselves.
Another point to make, Derek Coleman, he answered the bell.
But Derek Coleman came up big tonight. He led all scorers with 27. He was shooting the three, taking it to the hole, fighting for loose balls, doing everything that you wanted your top superstar to do.
Team high 4 stitches after the Oakley elbow. He left, they had the lead when he came back, but they lost it. Here's Daly.
We hung in there when Derek went out. We regained the lead. But then when he came back in, we couldn't hold on to it for whatever reason.
And now Charles Smith. Boy, a lot is expected of this guy. He delivers sometimes. He did tonight. 17 points off the bench, 11 of those in the fourth quarter. Pat Riley says, don't stop there, big fella.
It's only one game. Yeah, I'm happy for him tonight, okay? I don't want him to live on this game for the rest of the playoffs, okay? And I think he's, he knows he can accomplish those things. And when he's playing freely and sort of unencumbered, by, the weight of the world on his shoulders, that he can perform. And yes, for tonight, I was very happy for him.
Game one of the Tunnel Series goes to the Knicks, 91-80 over the New Jersey Nets. They'll play game 2 Sunday afternoon at the Garden in New York. And when we come back, we'll update you on Portland and Houston. It looked like a blowout. Not that way anymore. We'll be right back. Phoenix has the lead by a couple of touchdowns over Golden State. They're at the break as the Reebok halftime report continues. Houston and Portland are also playing right now, and Chris Dudley is back in the Portland lineup. Zeke, he hurt his ankle, and he's making life a little bit tougher on Akeem Olajuwon at least.
Well, he's been more physical in the middle. He's been able to establish some type of presence in the middle. He does all the scrappy work. You're not going to measure what he does by points, but you're going to measure what he does by having a presence in the middle, making Olajuwon work for shots, consequently turn Olajuwon down a little bit.
The Rockets looked like they were going to run away with this thing. They were up by 16 after one quarter. It's a 7-point game now late in the game. Let's go to Ron Thulin and Dick Versace at the Summit for bonus coverage on the Rockets.
I would like to welcome you who are watching the Phoenix Golden State game on TNT. We've got a dandy in Houston. Maxwell has hit the last 8 Houston points. He has 5 3-pointers in the ball game. We have tied an NBA record for the most 3-pointers made by 2 teams combined. 15 have hit the net tonight. Rudy Tomjanovich's team led by 19 early in the first half, only to have Portland scratch their way back to lead by 3 here in the fourth. But now it is Houston again, and Maxwell continues the zone.
Well, when a player gets hot like that, you got to deny him the ball. Clyde Drexler's letting him catch the ball, giving him some space, and letting him drain the jumpers.
Last 10 Houston points, 24 for the game. Porter, the piece of tape is on the floor. He doesn't get his foot right on it. Strickland inside, whistle and a foul. 107-98, we have 2:16 left to be played. Terry Porter in that first half came in with 16 points, 4 3-pointers, and he was virtually all the offense for this Blazers squad. But Maxwell in the zone.
When a player gets in the zone, you can't give him the space. Clyde Drexler gave him way too much room. They're not going to give Clyde that much room. They put 6'6" Mario Elie on him.
Drexler to the hole. He's going to be fouled by his former teammate at the University of Houston and a member of Phi Slamma Jamma. Olajuwon now with 4. These two guys played in a couple of Final Fours, 82 and 83. Of course, losing in the final tilt in 83 to North Carolina State, losing in the semis in 82 to North Carolina.
You know, if Portland could see a highlight film of their last 8 shots and their last 4 decisions, resulting in 2 turnovers and 4 or 5 very poorly selected shots, I think that they would take a second look at how they finish games. They might try to get themselves under control. But Ron Thulin, the guy that has to get them under control and sense what's going on, is the point guard, Rod Strickland.
26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists for Clyde Drexler. 18 in the second half. Very well, he stepped down the line. We'll go the other way. With 1:52 left, it is an 8-point advantage. 1:52 left in the fourth quarter, and the Houston Rockets lead at 107-99. Those of you on TNT, we send you back to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
All right, thank you, Ron. The Blazers not going quietly as they open up at the Summit against the Houston Rockets. More coming up on the Reebok Halftime Report after this.
Welcome back to America West Arena in Phoenix. The Suns with a 14-point lead, 64-50. Gary Bender along with Goose Gibbons. And Jack, you know, you look at this first half, the Suns shoot 62%. They have 18 assists, got 38 points combined from Barkley and KJ, and yet lead by only 14.
And if I'm Don Nelson, that's exactly what I'm selling to my team right now. These guys were very dominating. If you talk about the Phoenix Suns, but still, guys, we're very much in this game. The Warriors shoot just 44%. You know they can shoot it better than that. Fast break points, 18-2. Phoenix out on the break doing it on defense, and the front court scoring with Barkley having the big half. That's something that Golden State will have to deal with.
And here we're going to watch how they got out on the break. Barkley started this, and Kevin Johnson was the recipient of an easy layup.
Yeah, both guys had big first half play. KJ out on the break here. Barkley doing everything really in the first half. He scored the points, he rebounded, and you see his numbers here against the young star, potential star Chris Webber. Barkley just dominated in every category. But still, I think this is a game that you might see Golden State get back. Barkley shows the ball here to Webber, takes it right to the hole. He had a lot of three-point opportunities early in this ball game. You see his reaction. We talked about how focused he is starting this ball game. And then Sprewell's going to have to get going. He finally started making some shots. He finally started forcing KJ to play some defense. He knocks down the 3 here.
Yeah, he had 3 of 5 from Trey Land. Barkley in the first half, 20 points. 18 rebounds. Kevin Johnson also the strong first half. 18 points, also had 6 assists. Owens with 11 points. Sprewell with 13. Webber got into foul difficulty. He had 3 fouls. And he will start the second half. Byron Houston will also start the second half. You know what that's all about? He's going to come in and try to guard Sir Charles.
Well, he's going to try to put that big body on Charles. And as I say, it's not so much putting the body on Charles, but it's on Charles Barkley, but it's how you do it. You have to keep him out of the paint.
The cutter through the middle is Mullen, and Chris Mullen able to hit that one.
Yeah, that's nice to see, just simply because I think Mullen, if they're going to get back in this ball game, he's going to play a big part.
He was 2 for 6 in the first half. Kevin Johnson inside. He's just knifing through everyone. They cannot contain him in any shape or form.
Well, that's the way the game got started, and I think it took Sprewell out of the game on offense for Golden State, so concerned with KJ.
Billy Owens backing in at 11 points and 7 rebounds. The first half blocked by West. They're going to call goaltending. Mark West up and commits the goaltending call. Mark in the first half picked up 3 fouls, did not score, and gets the 2 points to Golden State at 66-54.
Well, it's interesting how Barkley played him that time. He just backed off and allowed him to get to the basket so West could do nothing.
And it's Sabonis now with 14 points in the ball game. He is 7 of 9 from the field. Most of those, though, those little baseline maneuvers that he can pull off so well.
And feeds from Barkley once Golden State decided they had to double up on him.
Owens off to Sprewell. Sprewell over Mark West. Weber tries to get it and does. Off it comes to Owens, and Owens very alert with the finger roll and makes it 68-56. And you already sense the Warriors in the second half have a different resolve about them. They're going to try to get back into this one in a hurry. Blocked by Sprewell. It'll be off of Sprewell. Suns will have it 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, the real key for Golden State here is they have not been able to get points on the fast break. So they have to find a way to get second and third opportunities. That means going to the boards as they did that time, getting some extra shots.
Kevin Johnson not there, and Sprewell, or I should say Owens, mistimed the jump. It'll be off of Marley. It'll go to Golden State, and the crowd getting a little uneasy right now. Suns led by as many as 17 in the first half, now by 12. Mullen trying to cut it to 10, and that'll be off of the Warriors.
I think here, Gary, you'll see the Phoenix Suns come down and try to find a way to get Barkley a shot. He hasn't touched it in this first half. Excuse me, in the second half. He got off to such a big first half of play. They need to try to get him involved.
Well, one of the reasons, look at Houston. Houston is...
But that's a better job. Look at that.
Yep. But there's the spin move. Help comes. Sabonis tries to follow Mark West, and West's going to be called for a pushing foul. That's the 4th on Mark West. Sabonis tried to shoot that ball without coming down, almost pulled it off, and then West pushing off committed the foul.
Well, he's capable of making that play. That's a good effort right there by Sabonis. He had a good look at the basket off of that offensive rebound. West trying to get the third shot at the basket.
And the Rockets winning tonight over Portland, 114-104. So all the action is completed here in this first round except for this game. Sprewell looks up at the clock, 4 seconds on the clock, takes it inside to Weber, and Weber the recipient of that.
And that's something I thought Golden State would go too early, giving Sprewell the ball down on the low post against KJ. But once again, he was on the defensive so much, he was so concerned about stopping KJ. His offense was just not there.
And that 14-point lead has been cut to 10. We have an illegal defense warning against Golden State.
Sprewell taking the ball to the hole, gets the defense to come. Weber with great hands.
Check that. They're going to call a foul on Billy Owens, his second, as he caught him across the wrist. So Owens with 2. Here's Barkley backing in on Houston. Houston making him change his spot a little. West fumbles again, blocked that time.
Houston much better defense. Oh!
And all of a sudden, Billy Owens left Kevin Johnson in a pile, and Paul Westphal calls timeout. And this Golden State team now is within 8. They trail by 14 at half, and at the 9:06 mark of this third quarter, they've come back, and we have a technical now being called. It's going to be on Mark West, I believe. West is unhappy anyway. He's picked up 4 fouls, and not very happy at all. We'll go to the commercial. We'll come back, and we'll further figure this one all out.
Don Nelson made the move to get Baron Houston into the starting lineup as the second half started. Mission, keep Charles Barkley out of the paint. He has done that. Weber makes a nice defensive play. And Billy Owens, when you're 6'9", 6'10", you can put the ball on the floor and make KJ look bad. You know you can handle the ball.
And shortly thereafter, Mark West was assessed with a technical. Chris Mullen misses the technical free throw.
Did not look good at all on that free throw.
No, he didn't. Now it's a 10-4 run in the second half for Golden State. They climbed within 8. AC Green has checked into the ball game now for the Suns. Kevin Johnson goes inside, and 2 blue shirts trying to get over there. They just couldn't get there quick enough. 22 points for KJ. Billy Owens looks into the cutting Mullen. Weber, nice spin move. He got away from Barkley, and the pass from Owens was there.
Well, Barkley playing on top, trying to keep the ball away from him that time. And Weber, with the veteran-like play, just spun to the baseline side and got the alley-oop.
12 points for Chris Webber. Boy, you see some flashes of brilliance in him, don't you? Here is Barkley backing in on Owens now. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Now there's the switch.
And as he goes in, we're going to have a foul on Billy Owens colliding with Barkley. Look at Webber a moment ago on this little feed from Owens.
Yeah, he has Barkley on the upside. Barkley trying to keep the ball. Now watch him just spin to the baseline and point to the rim, and Billy Owens delivers it.
Owens committed his third foul, and A.C. Green knifes into the middle. Green now in double figures with 10 points. Back to a 10-point lead for the Suns. So that timeout certainly came at a good time for Paul Westfall's team. Owens with Sabatos on him. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Sprewell, they double him.
A.C. Green illegal.
5, 4, 3, and with 2, Sprewell with a desperation heave, and A.C. Green with a rebound.
Well, he stayed right there in the lane, and that's what Don Nelson was screaming on the other end of the floor. Got away with it.
Evans tries to pass inside, deflected by the Warriors. The Suns will reload with 16 seconds on the clock.
Don Nelson, excellent at making the moves. It's this time of the year, it's all about adjustments. Yep. Sometimes it's from game to game, but for the most part, it's inside the confines of a ball game, and that was a good one, getting Houston in there to start the second half.
Sabatos with 5 on the clock. That little spin move, and he uses the left hand very well.
Yes, he gets that shot off so quickly. Everyone wanted that block. No one got it.
They call him the point-a-minute man. He can shoot it so quickly. 74-62, Sprewell as he goes inside, and he is fouled by Kevin Johnson. As for Kevin, is only his first foul.
Well, I think it's so important for Sprewell to make sure he keeps the pressure on KJ to come out and guard him. And
we may have another technical here on Paul Westfall. This will be the third technical of the game against the Suns. Sabatos with 1, West with 1, and now Paul Westfall with the tee. And Mullen hits this one. You know, this guy's had great patience, Paul Westfall has. They say he's laid back. I don't see him laid back right now.
No,
he is into this playoff atmosphere.
And I think you can see in a space of concern that he has with Golden State right now.
Suns up by 11. Sprewell with a 3. He's 3 of 5 prior to that one. Webber the rebound. And it comes to Mullen. He'll back it out. The screen, and Mullen a high 2-point shot. He got that one up.
He had to. Barkley stepped out and made it a tough shot.
74-65, the Suns, 6:38 to go in the third. Marley, who's been very quiet with a 3. And we got a foul inside, a loose ball foul against the Suns.
Yeah, I think Barkley pushing off that time, trying to get to the offensive board. And I think right now it is the young Golden State team that is playing like the veterans. They are taking Phoenix out of their game on their home court.
Let's take a look at tonight's GMC Truck scoreboard. We have 3 finals as you look what happened back in the East and the Midwest. Marley with his first 3 from the field tonight just a moment ago as Billy Owens hits the 2 there, and now it's 74-67, and Golden State is creeping closer.
Well, so often with this Golden State team, it's about matchups, and right now they are making Phoenix pay for 2 or 3 matchups that they're having problems with right now.
Marley difficult shot. That was a tough shot floating in the air.
Well, they have taken Barkley out of the mix of things on offense. Just not allowing him to get going.
And you got to give Byron Houston a lot of that credit. That's 8 points now for Marley, and Kevin Johnson has picked up his second foul. Let's go back to that shot by Dan Marley.
Well, this is a huge basket. Marley has to get going offensively. They're not allowing Barkley to be in the mix here, and there he is taking the ball to the hole.
So KJ's picked up 2 quick fouls. 5:44 to go in the third. Sprewell trying to use the screen. They snap it. Out it comes. It's going to be off of Sabatos. 14 seconds on the clock.
One problem right now for the Phoenix Suns, they are switching every exchange, and they are getting in situations where KJ might be matched up against the bigger Owens, as it was right there.
Barkley strips Billy Owens, and Marley will finish it. Sprewell trying to come back in a hurry. Gets it into Webber. Webber is going to be fouled by A.C. Green.
But that is the veteran play. I talked early in this ball game. When you have guys going to the basket, this is the playoffs. You don't give up opportunities.
Now, Don Nelson wants a flagrant foul, but Salvatore, the official, says no. As you said, it was just a tough foul.
Yeah, that's the time of the year it is. Yes, maybe in regular season, you have 2 free throws right now and you get the ball back, but this is playoffs. It's not going to be that way. Golden State needs to learn that.
AC Green picking up the foul. It's his first. That is the 15th foul against the Suns. The Warriors with 2 here in the third. Weber, a very poor free throw shooter, coming into this ball game shooting only 53%. That's his first attempt of the night. Boy, he's got a funny-looking rotation, but Billy Owens very quickly able to retrieve the rebound. Owens hanging in the air. Rebound, Byron Houston. And Byron Houston now has acquitted himself well here in the third quarter.
You're talking about a big call. Don Nelson with the move in the locker room said, you have to go in there, you have to be big, and he is playing that way right now. Barkley had huge.
Yep. 9-point lead now. In it comes. Marley off the glass. Weber tips it out. Barkley's got it. Barkley says, hold it up now. Back it out. Let's set it up. AC Green has it deflected by Weber. Weber in midstream came out with that one.
Oh, man, this team.
Here's Billy Owens. And you see the athleticism of the Warriors from time to time.
They are going to be great in the future. They can come at you. And they have a lot of stuff that they're not even using. With Hardaway over on the bench.
And Sharunas Marciulionis as well, as this is a team that has had a remarkable year. Don Nelson said maybe the most remarkable I've had in my years of coaching. And Barkley finally able to score. That is his first points of the second half.
Hey, but you saw how hard he had to work for that. While Houston gave him the basket, he did his job. He made it tough on Barkley.
80-71, Phoenix, 4 minutes to go, and a very good third quarter for the guys from the Golden Gate State. And there's Sprewell, and again, you just marvel at some of the moves we're seeing here.
Matchup problems right now for Phoenix.
Kevin Johnson has Weber out on him, into Sabonis, left it short. AC hustles and he's fouled, and that is what AC does so well. He stays alive near the basket. And Kevin Johnson giving the veteran a hug, knowing full well he's glad to have him on his side this year.
It is just so important every possession, and I think that that you saw right there, KJ up talking with AC Green. Barkley here. Now watch how hard he has to work. I mean, I don't think he had to work this hard for a basket in the first half. He got it, but I think Houston played him very well.
There's Byron Houston. He's had to work awfully hard and did a very good job. That foul a moment ago was on Sprewell, his second, as now Oliver Miller comes in for Cedric Sabonis.
And I think Don Nelson grabbed him as he came out of the game and said, it's not over yet, big fella. Gets you a couple minutes and you're going to be right back in there. I mean, he played very well.
He sure did. And again, you got to give Don Nelson a lot of credit, that chess match that he always comes up with, making the move. He's still going to have to make some more, though, if he's going to win this one.
Well, Phoenix pretty much has answered this first little run here by Golden State. Now, Golden State will have to try to find a way to keep the composure and make sure that this thing does not get back up to 15, 17 points.
Chris Gatling has come into the ball game, replacing Houston. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Sprewell with 4. Forced that shot. Barkley, it's going to be off of the Suns. Barkley doesn't agree, and they may have another technical. They're not careful here. The Suns already have 3. We're going to have a timeout called by Golden State. Barkley still working over Bennett Salvatore. Well, no T yet. We're going to go away. 82-73, Phoenix. Wow. Starting at 7 o'clock Eastern, a Dream Team 2 special. Dream Team 2 takes on the world. Then at 7:30, Ernie Johnson hosts the playoff pregame show. And at 8 o'clock, it's NBA action as Miami takes on Atlanta, followed by Denver and Seattle. Jack and I will be there. And it's a full night of excitement, all starting, mark it down, 7 o'clock on TNT. Denver trying to regroup after running into that buzzsaw last night in the Pacific Northwest.
I think they were very nervous in that ball game. Maybe they got over the jitters.
Here's Billy Owens from outside. Gatling with a follow. That's what he does, is he plays above the rim. They're going to give that to Weber?
Yeah,
okay, Weber with 14. But
Weber was also there.
82-75. Less than 3 to go in the third. Oliver Miller in now with Marley, Kevin Johnson, A.C. Green, and Barkley. Barkley has only scored in the second half 2 points. Heads thrown away. 2-on-1. They've got the numbers. And Mullen with A.C. Green trying to hang tough with him, and it's 82-77.
Tough shot. And Golden State now starting to get some points in the fast break. They didn't get but 2 in the first half. They are starting to get some steals and getting some easy opportunities.
Kevin Johnson will try one from outside, and that's what was missing now. As Kevin in that first half was burying those shots, he has 24 for the night. 84-77.
Barkley had 20 points in the first half. He has 22 now.
That's right. And a lot of that credited to Byron Houston, who now is on the bench. They double Sprewell, tipped by Miller. It'll be Golden State's ball, 6 seconds on the shot clock. 2:03 to go, third quarter. Golden State has certainly positioned themselves to make a run in the fourth. Here is Sprewell off balance. Barkley somehow comes up with a rebound. That's 7, and Kevin Johnson is fouled. I mean fouled, as he gets decked in the backcourt. It's going to be the 3rd foul on Sprewell and the 4th team foul against the Warriors. There's the matchup between Barkley and Weber. Barkley still getting the better of it, getting those 20 points and 18 rebounds in the first half. And Marley, that's goaltending on Billy Owens.
That was a tough shot by KJ as Weber came out and forced him to shoot that one a lot higher than he wanted to.
Marley has come on in this second half. He has now 12 points. He had 6 in the first half. Gatling swipe by Kevin Johnson.
Well, he put the ball on the floor. Never should have done that. Should have taken it right onto the hole.
I think Kevin had a layup, and he gave it instead to Barkley, and Barkley is fouled. Kevin thought it wasn't a shot. I think he had a layup and passed off, and Barkley will go to the line.
Well, once again, you have to understand now that Barkley had the big first half, and KJ, while he has had opportunity after opportunity going to the basket, Barkley needs to get back involved in the mix here on offense, and maybe that's what KJ was thinking about.
You know, Sprewell just picked up his 4th. He's kind of frustrated right now. Those last 2 fouls, a lot of frustration in both of those.
I think you're right.
Barkley, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, 22 points, 5 assists, 15 rebounds. And he is not happy about that miss, as Frank Johnson now will come in. I hope he didn't read his lips.
I think everyone in the lower bowl right now understands how upset he is.
Well, Charles has struggled from the free throw line this year. He finally got it up to 70% at the end of the regular season, but he was down in the 60s most of the year. As Oliver Miller now comes out of the ball game, Frank Johnson is checked in. 1:20 left in the third. Well, Golden State could certainly understand the frustration of that free throw line.
Yes.
If anybody.
They know. They're hoping for more misses, and Don sitting over there on the bench trying to think of another wrinkle he can throw at this Phoenix team.
Sprewell to Gatling, and he's fouled by A.C. Green. Very good movement of the ball. Sprewell in particular just sliced inside and got Chris Gatling to the line.
I think it shows a whole lot how much confidence Don Nelson has in Sprewell. He has 4 personal fouls. You're talking about your most effective player over the course of the year on offense, and he didn't make a move to the bench to get him out of there. Now A.J. is up now, Avery Johnson, and he might in fact come in for Sprewell, and we'll get him out of there for the rest of this period.
And that's exactly what's happening. As Sprewell leaves, Avery Johnson comes in. Chris Gatling, who started 23 of the last 29 games, had a couple of big games. He had 15 rebounds in a game, which is a career high. Gets 1 of 2, 87-78, Phoenix. Here's Keith Jennings in now, tracking Frank Johnson. 57 seconds left in the third quarter. Barkley, after Gatling goes for the field, that will be a continuation. I don't know how he got that one off.
That is just making sure you throw the ball towards the rim when you hear that whistle. You never know what's going to happen. He gets it to go down after picking up the foul. And watch Barkley. Gatling gets over on top trying to knock that one away. Big body to go around on Barkley. And he just lets it go.
Yep.
Gets the break.
Well, the good players get the breaks, huh?
Yes, because they make them.
That's right.
They
Gatling
make the breaks.
with his third foul, and Barkley gets the three-point play.
Oh, he did
90-78. Yes, he did. And Barkley now with 26. Finishing strong here in the third quarter. Here's Keith Jennings, very good outside shooter. He led the NCAAs in three-point shooting when he was in college. Rebound is cleared by Johnson. Stripped by Chris Gatling. The crowd thought he was fouled. Barkley swipes it back. Here comes Mr. Barkley to Marley. He got it to go. What a recovery by Phoenix.
Well, Barkley with the big defensive play just sprinted back to the paint, picked off the pass, and got the bounce pass to go to Marley.
And the Suns on a 10-1 run now at the end of the quarter.
Not to kind of close to this period that Don Nelson wanted.
Avery Johnson to the hole, and he gets it with 7.3 seconds. No help defense on that one. Frank Johnson hurrying up to Barkley. Barkley will put one up with 2.7. Owens with the rebound, and we have played 3 here in game 1. And the Suns, after seeing Golden State make a run at them, fought them off and made a little surge themselves. But look at the third quarter by Billy Owens. Good comeback, but still not enough. 12 minutes left to go. 92-80 Phoenix. The Valley of the Sun, America West Arena, as the Great Southwest enjoying an outstanding basketball game here. The Phoenix Suns leading by 12. They led by 14 and a half. As we start this fourth quarter, it'll be Kevin Johnson, Danny Ainge has come in now, A.C. Green, Marley, and Oliver Miller. And look at this. The Suns are 47-7, leading going into the fourth quarter.
Now, one of those 7 losses came against this Golden State team.
Suns this year lost only 1 game at home to a Pacific Division rival this year in the regular season. That was Seattle. Kevin Johnson, Oliver Miller can't track it down. Keith Jennings does.
KJ wanted to pass that one, but Jennings was there. His quickness made him change up his shot.
Mullen gives to Gatling, and that's what Gatling does well, is hammer it. He gets the 2, and he's fouled. And look at Gatling. He is really excited, and they call him the Energizer. I can understand why.
Yeah, the real problem with his energy has been more so on the defensive end of the floor. More times than not, he tends to get into foul trouble, but he has the explosiveness and the strength here to get himself to the basket, even in the midst of all that contact.
That foul was on Oliver Miller, his 3rd, and Gatling completes the 3-point play. Little pressure now. Kevin Johnson recognizes it to Oliver Miller.
I think if Golden State is going to make another run, they need to do it right now with Barkley over there on the bench.
Keith Jennings ran into that pick by Oliver Miller. And now we're going to have a foul on Miller moving.
Well,
and he really attracted the attention after the earlier pick he set on Keith Jennings.
Well, yeah, that's a good call. The problem is he had little Jennings locked up, and he just pretty much carried him into the paint after the screen.
So that's the 4th on Oliver, and Oliver not getting a lot of minutes tonight. He'll sit down in foul trouble. So we have Green, Sabalas, Ainge, Marley, and Kevin Johnson. Not a very big lineup right now for the Suns. And there's AC. He plays big, though.
Yes, he does.
9 seconds on the shot clock.
Gatlin needs it against Ainge.
Mullen with a 3, air ball. Gatling saves it in, and then the shot clock expires. Good hustle by Gatling, but they just ran out of time.
Well, you know, I think what happened, some of the people sitting on the sideline here counting the clock down, and while there was 6 seconds on, they were already saying 3, 2, 1, and Mullen thought that there was far less time on the clock when he let that one go.
Weber on the bench with 14 points, Barkley with 26. as we have 10:44 left in the game. Kevin Johnson inside, not inside too far that time. Here comes Billy Owens. What a very strong game he's having. And it doesn't get the shot. AC tries to tip it out. Kevin's on the floor, and we have a jump ball. Billy Owens playing very hard in this game. He has 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think really what needs to be pointed out here is Don Nelson has gone once again to his bench, and he's giving this Phoenix team something else to think about. You look at the guards out there, extremely small with Jennings and then with Avery Johnson, but Jennings causing KJ a whole lot of problems, not allowing him to get to the basket.
And the smallest guy on the floor, Avery Johnson, was a blur on that play, and it's now 92-85, and Golden State is climbing back into this one again.
Now watch the way Jennings has played KJ. Once again, cuts him off going to the basket.
AC Green with a tough catch there, draws the foul, and he'll be going to the free throw line. Billy Owens trying to impede his move, and it's going to be his 4th foul. So Sprewell and Owens with 4 fouls. Mark West for the Suns has 4.
Now there's Jennings cutting off KJ. How many times has that happened in this ball game? I mean, he has gotten to the paint every time he has turned the corner. This time Jennings would not allow him to do that.
AC Green this year from the free throw line, 74% free throw shooter. Barkley's going to come in now. Here comes Charles with 10:13 left in the game. And Marley will come out.
Now, the question here is whether or not Don Nelson will come back with Byron Scott. He did such a, Byron Scott. I'm still thinking about him knocking that shot down last night. Byron Houston, he did such a good job against Barkley early in the 3rd period, taking him out of the offense. The problem, though, with Houston on the floor is that he doesn't give him very much offense.
Sprewell comes in. Chris Mullen checks down. There's the guy you were talking about, Byron Houston. 94-85, just outside 10 minutes left in the game. Avery Johnson into Sprewell. Sprewell playing with 4 fouls, a double on him. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Billy Owens with a good shot right in front, and he has 23 for the night.
Well, they're running that double team at Sprewell every time, and how he handles it and throws out of it will be a real key. They do not want him to have it. He has to find shots for other people.
94-87, Golden State into AC. AC has a block by Gatling. It's going to be off of AC Green. Gatling has made some very key plays at both ends of the floor in the second half. And there was one of them, as he was able to precipitate that turnover. 94-87, Phoenix. Here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. There's the Weber-Barkley matchup thus far.
Weber has fared better here in the second half. Barkley with 20 points in the first half of play and 13 rebounds. But the real surprise is offensive rebounds for Golden State. Normally a team that gives up a lot of offensive rebounds. They have found a way to get to the boards here tonight.
One of the guys that's really done a good job is Owens. He has 13 rebounds in this game.
Yeah, he's capable of that night in and night out. He's playing big here.
He had an average of 8.1 in the regular season. Sprewell inside. He got Kevin Johnson in low, used his height advantage, and Kevin has committed his 3rd foul.
Well, that's a great call coming out of the timeout there. Did not waste time going to Sprewell. Now you're talking about offensive rebounds for opponents here. Golden State gives up 16 a game. Phoenix just 13. That's reversed here tonight.
Sprewell with 15 points.
And you know, when it comes right down to it here, you look at this series, we've talked about Golden State's inability to make free throws. That might be what this series comes down to.
Well, they're 10 of 20. That's not going to get it done. They're better than that. They're shooting 66% and not that good right now. As he gets 1 of 2, 94-88.
It's a 6-point game, so they shoot 80% tonight. And they're up.
Owens coming out on AC Green. 9:15 left in the game. 6-point lead for the Suns. Kevin Johnson backs Mr. Jennings. Here is AC Green, tipped up by Sabatas. 1 slice. Avery Johnson has it. Out to Sprewell, looking for his 4th tray, and that's his 4th tray of the night.
Looks great from the time it left his hands.
This is the closest now they've been since midway in the first quarter. They have cut it to 3.
And look at this small unit on the floor for Golden State.
Inside, they missed the layup. Sabonis reloads it, and Gatling saved it. And now Golden State down by 3. Sprewell will try to cut it to 1.
Oh, beautiful.
And all of a sudden, Latrell Sprewell is on a roll. He had been quiet for a while, but no longer. It's a 1-point game. 8:25 left. And Don Nelson's team was trailed by as many as 17 within 1.
This small unit on the floor for Golden State getting it done. Hey, you're on the fast break. You're supposed to fill the lane, go on to the basket. Not Sprewell, not here tonight. He spotted up. The shot looked good from the time it left his hand. And here he is again with the drive to the basket. You have to come out and play him. And he's talking a lot. Look who's leading the cheers over there on the bench. Weber going at it, but in the blue jacket. Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway has been out all year with that blown knee. Sprewell in the ball game is 4 of 8 from three-point land, and away from the ball, Joey Crawford has spotted something.
Gatlin trying to keep Barkley away from the ball, away from the painted area.
He got his knee in him. That's right. And Gatling, you can see, looks like he's ready to do it again. Look at the field goal. Suns 0 for 6 here in the fourth quarter, and as an end result, lead by 1. Barkley and Gatling going after each other again. Frank Johnson checked in. And a foul. We're going to have a foul over the back by Sabonis. Latrell Sprewell had good inside position.
Once again, and I hate to keep going back to the little guy on the floor, but I can't say enough about the difference Jennings has made since coming into this ball game. He went down for the double team. His quickness allowed him to get out, put the pressure on Frankie Johnson on that jump shot.
Well, this small line has been so well, Jack, that they haven't moved Weber off the bench. That shows you how effective it is to keep Weber and go with this small unit. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Jennings. He's deadly from 3. And Sabonis had a hand on it. It'll be Golden State's ball with a fresh 24 seconds. The Warriors down by 1 and the agony of the playoffs. It's Elliot Perry, a backup point guard. Look at this run, 13-2 in the last 3:35. Avery Johnson, the quickness again. Here's Gatling, has it stripped away. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Nice.
Keep Jennings in. Jennings has given Golden State the lead, their first lead since they led 12-10.
Oh, that step-through dribble. The double team was coming. He stepped right through the paint. Got the shot up over the big people under the basket.
And so Golden State with a 95-94 lead. A remarkable comeback. Barkley outside to Green. 7:10 left in the ball game. In it comes to Charles. They double on him. 4 seconds. Stripped by Gatling, and he saves it off of Barkley. And now they're going to say it's going to be the Suns' ball.
Well, Gatling made the play, threw it off of Barkley, but it hit him before he touched the ball, touched the ground out of bounds.
The whole Warrior bench is up. Don Nelson trying to orchestrate defensively what he wants. Westfall is up.
Westfall thought that Golden State had possession of basketball, but no,
it's going to be the Suns' ball. There's a discussion going on between Terry Durham and they're going to reset the shot clock. That's what the debate was about. Nelson saying, now wait a minute, the ball never hit the rim.
Well, it hit the rim. I don't think it hit the rim. I think the question is whether or not Golden State had possession on that save attempt.
Let's look at it. Let's try to recapture what happened here.
Well, Gatlin strips Barkley as he takes the shot up. Now, he grabs it, throws it. He had 2 hands on it, and that constitutes a change of possession.
That's what it was, and he also hit himself as the ball came off of Barkley. So that tells you what happened. 6:58 left in the game. Barkley, who has not hit a 3. Got it.
Big shot. Big shot. Huge. Huge basket.
Well, he's shot the Suns into many games this year. 97-95, Phoenix. Avery Johnson trying to tie it. Billy Owens has it stripped. It'll be off of Phoenix.
Now, for Golden State, the question, did they use too much energy trying to get back in this ball game? Do they have more that they can call on here?
Sprewell will inbound. 23 seconds on the shot clock. 6:36 left in the game.
And then the other thing is, how long can you go with this unit before you get your big guns back in there?
The big guns being Chris Webber. And there's the rebound by Barkley. Out it comes now to Kevin Johnson. KJ backing in on Keith Jennings. Yep.
It's just so important because if you think back in this ball game, what KJ did early.
Yep. That may be the matchup you're going to see the rest of this series. And that's a tough shot by Marlin. Rebound is cleared by Sprewell. Kevin Johnson tried to make him stop the dribble, but Sprewell continues a three. He is now 4 of 9 for three-point land. Frank Johnson with a defensive board. Barkley says, hold it up. Let's settle in here.
And Barkley says also, come to me. I want the ball. And Frankie Johnson goes right to his side of the floor.
There's the superstar at crunch time.
Yes. You ask for the ball in a situation like that, you better deliver, and Barkley does.
And Don Nelson calls timeout. 99-95. So after Golden State had taken a 1-point lead, the Suns have answered, and they have a surge of their own.
Frankie Johnson gets the rebound, and he says, guys, let's slow it down here. Let's get a basket. During the same time, Barkley says, hey, bring the ball to me. I want it. Watch him right here. You'll see him right in the middle of the screen. He'll look at Frankie and point to himself. I want the ball. I mean,
and what did he do with it?
And
he
here's
hit
what
a
happened.
shot.
I want it, and I'm going to deliver.
And the Suns, by virtue of that basket, have a 99-95 lead. Chris Webber has now come into the ball game with 5:27 left to go. Sprewell tried to dump it inside. He's going to call a foul on Barkley. Barkley pushing to get to the ball, has committed his second. No, are they going to give that to Kevin Johnson?
Barkley
Evidently, it's going to be on Kevin Johnson, his fourth.
KJ with the hold.
So Kevin Johnson with 4 instead of Barkley with 2. And it comes to J.C. Green,
on the line.
He's out of bounds. He thought he had a chance saving that. Instead, now Terry Durham is pointing down the other end. We have now the game reset. Both teams with 3 full timeouts, each with a 20. And let's say now to give for Golden State and 1 for the Suns.
Let's say now if they reset the shot clock. Now they gave it to a new shot clock to Phoenix. They do not reset it here. Don Nelson, he's over there complaining about that.
15 seconds on the shot clock. Owens backing in on AC. Billy Owens with 23 points. Rebound, Webber. Webber can't get it. Owens fighting furiously, but he still can't come up with a board, and AC does instead. Kevin Johnson on the move. Blocked by Webber.
Beautiful defensive play.
Back it comes to Keith Jennings. They got numbers. 3-on-1. Mullen.
Great block, Webber.
2-point game. You talk about reversal. Block, and all of a sudden they had it out of there and headed the other way. Phoenix by 2, 4.5 minutes left in the game. Barkley and Webber are going after each other. And that defense coming from Sprewell. That'll be his 5th foul. Barkley gets a basket. Sprewell with his 5th, and Sir Charles will go to the line.
And Barkley goes over, has some words for Sprewell, and Sprewell comes back, and he has some more to say, and they are chest to chest. Sprewell's a competitor. I mean, above everything else, you have to like that part of his game. He will not back down.
Well, he grew up in the Milwaukee area, didn't play a lot of high school basketball, went to Three Rivers Community College in Missouri, then on to Alabama, and now one of the outstanding young players in the league.
Now watch Barkley right here after the play. Sprewell late coming over, gets the foul, and Barkley grabs the ball and he goes over and has a few words with Spree.
A few, just a few.
And then probably nice words, but still had something to say.
Barkley with 30 in the regular season. Barkley had 30-plus points 9 times. 101-97, chance for a 3-point play, and he missed another free throw. Barkley now is 5 of 9 for the free throw line.
And I'm just waiting if Sprewell nails another shot, what he will say to Barkley.
Right now, Joe Prosky is attending to Dan Marley on the side. Looks like he got cut above the eye. Here's Sprewell with a three. And the rebounder, Chris Mullen. Prosky right over in the Suns bench has Marley sitting on the scorer's table, administering help to him. Here comes Keith Jennings, and he is fouled.
I think Marley has a cut under the eye. Yeah, he has that cut there. And that's a tough place to stop the bleeding. It's also a tough place to have a bandage. They will try to get him ready to play, but as long as that thing is open, he won't be able to play.
He's probably got ice in that towel as Keith Jennings will go to the line. Keith Jennings, we mentioned, a very good free throw shooter, however, 1 of 2 tonight. And Marley's going to come in, so evidently the bleeding has stopped. He looks like somebody has gone 15 rounds. Be sure to stay tuned to TNT for Inside the NBA. Fred Hickman with highlights of tonight's game. Look ahead to tomorrow's NBA playoff games and the popular In Case You Missed It feature. Hope you'll stay and join Fred Hickman.
He is bleeding. He's not supposed to be in the game, and if I'm Golden State, I'm pointing that out to the officials.
Here it comes to Barkley, 12 seconds on the shot clock. Into AC. Barkley with a big assist. 4-point lead, 16 points for AC. He averaged 14-7 during the regular season. I think they are doing exactly what you talked about, Jack. They're saying, get Marley out of here, he's bleeding. And so he's telling Nelly, wait a minute, we're okay, it's not a timeout. You get back over there, we're going to make a change. And so Marley back out, and the cut doctor, Joe Prosky, goes back to work.
Well, Marley upset that he is not able to go into the ball game. Got away with it for a little while. Golden State pointed it out, and he is out of there.
Danny Ainge, the veteran, is in. 3:29 left in the game. The Suns by 4. Keith Jennings over AC Green. Barkley with a rebound. Barkley with 18. 18 rebounds at 30 points. A superstar's number.
And I'd go to Barkley again.
And that's what they're doing. Weber trying to impede him, but he just left him in his wake.
Well, you know, this is the time to go to the man. And Barkley is the man for Phoenix.
32 points for Sir Charles. Weber playing with 3 fouls, but very cautious on that one. Here's Sprewell coming out. 9 seconds on the shot clock. In it goes to Owens. Owens gives it to Weber. He overshoots it. You know, Weber was out a long time. He hasn't gotten into the flow like he was earlier.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think right now for Weber, he is just going to have to attack the basket. He's not making the shots. He's not been real aggressive. Barkley has him guessing every time down on defense. He's got to get something to go down for him. A big-time play might be the way to do it.
Sprewell inside as it's stripped, and Ainge says, I got all ball. But Salvatore will hear nothing of it.
Yeah, but Ainge always does. I mean, he always says that.
There's Prosky still trying to get Marley back into the game. Go on and play the game.
Now you'll see Ainge come over from behind. Does he get all ball? Got him on the arm.
Yep. You were right.
Well, you see Ainge play all these years, and you kind of know, and I think the officials know that. Didn't think twice about it.
Sprewell, prior to that free throw, was 3 of 4. And now for this game, they are 13 of 24. And again, the free throws really coming back to haunt this team as it has all year long.
Might come down to that in this series. I mean, they have played well enough to be up in this ball game, but they could not, or have not to this point, made their free throws.
Sprewell gets the second half of it, a 5-point lead, 2:24 to go.
25 of 38 from the free throw line.
Jennings, who's done such a good job tracking Kevin Johnson. Johnson got off that big first half.
I mean, when was the last time KJ had gotten to the basket?
Here's Sabanos cutting, and he lost it. The cutter was there, the play was there, and he just couldn't come up with it. And we're going to have a timeout. And with Golden State calling timeout, we have 2 minutes, 3 seconds left in this ball game. 5-point lead for the Suns.
Oh, it's nice how the superstars step up in a game like this. Barkley, before called for the ball, right now he gets the youngster, takes him right to the hole with the drop step move to the baseline. big game for Charles Barkley.
Big game, I would say. 32 points and 18 rebounds. The reset. Golden State has 2 full timeouts at 20. The Suns 3-1, and the Warriors have 1 foul to give. Chris Mullin with a 3. Just hasn't been there tonight. Barkley battling, and Owens comes over the top and commits a foul. And Billy Owens with his 5th foul of the night. He has played as hard tonight as I've seen him play.
He has played very well. He seems to like now and feels comfortable in his role with the team. He has gotten all the complaining out of his mind. He has settled down into that position, and he has played well because of it.
You saw that graphic, 18 straight losses here in the Valley of the Sun.
Man.
Barkley again, Green tries to follow, a putback, Mullin with the rebound. And Golden State very much alive. That could have been a big basket there. And they thought Sprewell carried the ball. And Weber misses. Billy Owens and a putback. And it's down to 3, 105-102.
Well, I think something must have happened back as Cedric Sabalas fell into the Golden State bench. They might have held him over there a little bit longer. He never did get back up, and he finally came out of there. The crowd reacted, but I think some of those guys over there wouldn't let him up.
I see Victor Alexander with a Cheshire grin look as going inside is Marley, and he is fouled. That would be a real declare of the game, wouldn't it?
This team changed around a lot when Hardaway came back with this team and started traveling. Maybe it's some of this. Watch Hardaway. Maybe that has something to do with it right there while he's been so valuable.
Yeah. Well, you can't play. You help in other ways, right?
That's exactly right. They have changed around since he has started making the road trips. Boy, he got caught that time.
Well, they're all grinning over there. They got that look, you know, like they were the cat that swallowed the canary. There they are. Look at him. Oh. That's not funny to the Suns.
Well, no, it won't be. And the problem is, Timmy, they got you on camera.
105-102. Marley hit the first. A true delay of the game. 56 seconds left. 5-point lead for the Suns. Mullin inside to Owens. Somebody broke down defensively, and Owens got an easy 2.
While the screen down, both people came out with Mullin. That left Owens under the basket wide open.
Billy Owens with 27 points. What a tremendous game for Owens. His high was 29 in the regular season. Sabalas wide open. There, Barkley fighting for it. And Keith Jennings, the smallest man on the floor, has got it. Broken up by Marley. Sprewell was setting himself for a 3, and Marley intercepted the ball.
Well, the only way that pass gets through is with the bounce pass, and Keith Jennings decided to throw it in the air. The defensive player got a hand on it, and the only mistake he has made in this ball game might be a big one.
Sprewell was waiting. He is so frustrated, cleared out at the other end of the floor. He saw the opportunity coming, and Marley instead, in the passing lane, deflected the ball. And Nelson's team still down by 3.
Now watch, the bounce pass would have gotten to Sprewell. You saw him behind the three-point line. The air pass right into the hands of Marley. Great defensive play by Dan Marley.
Kevin Johnson, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. That's a miss that leaves the door open, obviously.
Timeout.
And they're going to have a timeout called. We're still waiting. Yep, Don Nelson calls timeout.
After the make.
After the make.
miss. After the
17.4 seconds. He missed them both. Barkley with the follow. And that may have done it.
Barkley throws Weber right to the ground, or at least Weber tried to entice the official into believing that. And he doesn't get the call.
And Don Nelson's timeout doesn't have the same meaning right now. 109-104, Phoenix.
KJ, 82% from the free throw line coming into this ball game, had missed the first one. Golden State wanted another miss. They got it. But Barkley, with the quick move to the middle, gets to the offensive boards. And Weber wanted the foul, but I think, in fact, Barkley just makes the big play.
And Barkley's made a lot of them tonight. 34 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists. They say to win an NBA title, you got to have a go-to guy. Well, Barkley certainly fills that need as far as the Suns are concerned. Now taking it out at center court. Golden State, 16 and a half seconds left. Weber stripped by Barkley. And Barkley is fouled as he goes up the floor and almost had a continuation on that one with 12.4 seconds left in the game.
Golden State wanted the quick basket. They didn't have any intention of going for the three right there. They wanted to make sure they got a quick opportunity. Got it to Weber just where they wanted him to have the ball. Barkley with another big defensive play. Weber lost control of it. And boy, this guy has stepped up and has played.
He started out
huge.
Playing huge. He had 18 points, 11 rebounds in the first quarter. At half, had 20 points and 13 rebounds. Now at 34 and 19. And those numbers really don't show the crucial plays he made. The shot, remember when he called for it, the rebound on the missed free throw, so many big plays.
Yeah. But I think Weber will be better for going through this. This is his first time into the playoffs, and Barkley has handled him pretty easily in this ball game. I think you'll see a different Chris Weber on Sunday afternoon.
Weber with 14 points and 8 rebounds himself. Nelson calling for a timeout as we have 12.4 seconds left. And the Suns, who this year struggled from time to time because of all the injuries, still winning only 6 less games than a year ago, started last year in the first round of the playoffs, losing their first 2 here at home against the Lakers, and wanted to avoid that tonight. Don't forget, coming up next inside the NBA, Fred Hickman, highlights of tonight's NBA action, a preview of tomorrow's NBA playoff games, and the popular In Case You Missed It feature, highlights from the final week of the regular season. That's inside the NBA, coming up after our game, as Fred Hickman, who does such an outstanding job, standing by after we complete all of this here tonight. 111 to 104. Golden State has only a 20-second timeout left.
Well, it was interesting. They came out of the timeout the last time with the thought of getting the quick 2. Things have changed around now, and I would imagine they will change it around, try to get Sprewell a shot from behind the three-point line. We'll see who takes the ball out of bounds. A lot of times the out-of-bounds play will go to the guy that takes the ball out. But big plays down the stretch for Phoenix, and also big plays on the other end. If you talk Golden State shows their inexperience, you have to take advantage of opportunities. You have to complete plays and execute down the stretch.
Well, they say playoffs are all about adjustments you make from one game to another. Nelly found out some things here tonight.
Yes, he did.
That he thinks he can use effectively in game 2.
One thing that he found out certainly was that Keith Jennings is a guy that he has to find a way to get more minutes for.
And get him on Kevin Johnson. Then it goes to Weber over the back. And it'll be Golden State's ball with 9.8 seconds. They may put some more time on the clock here.
I don't know for sure what Phoenix was thinking about. I know they're concerned about the three-point shot, but they left Weber wide open under the basket. Left him wide open. And I guess you think they would be happy to give up 2 and not allow Golden State to get the 3, but you don't want it that easily.
As before your eyes, you can see the time added to the shot clock, or I should say the game clock, 10 seconds left. In it comes to Weber. Back to Jennings, but he was standing out of bounds. And so to go to Phoenix. And the Suns are going to win this one. They started fast, and Golden State come back and take a 95-94 lead, and then surge, and they take a 1-game-to-none lead. Charles Barkley, a monster game. The guy who was the MVP in the NBA last year, and he played like that tonight.
Yes, he in fact did. He stepped up, and when the game was on the line, Golden State made a run, went ahead. He called for the basketball, and he got it.
And he is our Budweiser player of the game. No surprise there. Sir Charles Barkley, getting the Suns off on a successful note here tonight. 111 to 104. And Charles coming over to join us right now. Charles, congratulations. This is a little different start than a year ago when you guys opened up 0-2 at home.
Well, that's the thing that we talked about before the game. We got off to a real shaky start. We were playing real tight. This year we wanted to come out and play relaxed. We knew this was going to be a tough series, but it was very important to win the first game.
Charles, you couldn't have played any better tonight. You came out quickly, you had that game face on, and then you finished strong.
Well, I want to get off to a good start because I think in the back of your mind, you are feeling somewhat a little pressure from last year. If you get off to a bad start, you might start thinking about last year losing the first 2 games at home. So I told Paul that I wanted to get off to a good start. I was going to try to get everybody involved. But last name, I definitely want to get off to a good start.
Paul Westphal said coming into this series that your team, in fact, had the toughest draw of any matchup in the first rounds. And a lot of that, I'm sure he was very, very concerned with. The other part, though, I think he was wanting to make sure you guys approach this series the right way.
I think we definitely, last year was a wake-up call. But Golden State's a tough team. The thing with Don Nelson, you never know.
That's right.
So, and they pulled some big upsets in the first round the last few years in the playoffs. So that's actually was a blessing in disguise. Last year we had beat LA 5 straight times during the regular season, and we definitely got overconfident. But this year we know how Don Nelson coaches, and so we were ready.
On that last play, you got that missed free throw. It seemed like, I remember early in the year when Weber made the dunk on you, it seemed like in this game you wanted to send a message to the young fella.
You know what? I really didn't want to send a message. I thought he's a good young player, and he's going to be a great player in the future. But I think, obviously, right now, I have a lot of experience on him. And the future is his. But I feel like right now is our time.
Let me ask you one more thing, Charles. I thought one of the real poignant moments of this game, when you guys walked the ball up the floor, you pointed to yourself, said, I want the ball. Like superstar at crunch time.
Well, I told them that if they didn't give it to me that time, I was going to kill them. Because they had let the lead get down to, I think, 2 points, and I hadn't touched it. And I said, hey, I'm going to shoot it even if I do miss it. Give me the ball. But that's my job, to make plays when the game is on the line, and my teammates did a good job of getting me the ball.
Great Charles, game, congratulations.
Long way to go.
There's going to be a lot of matchup changes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Charles Barkley with a monster game tonight as the Suns picking up the victory here, beating Golden State, and moving on to game number 2, which will be played here Sunday at America West Arena. Let's go to Atlanta now. What a game this was. Ernie Johnson, we're going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Gary, and what a couple of nights it has been. We've had every first-round game on either TNT or TBS. All the Friday night highlights come your way on Inside the NBA. Fred Hickman is your host. That comes your way next here on TNT. Let me hit the board one more time and review the Friday night action. Portland and Houston playing at the Summit, and it's Houston 114-104. They went 9 out of 16 from three-point range. Vernon Maxwell hit 5 of those. Maxwell with 24. Hakeem had 26. Houston takes a 1-0 lead in that series with Game 2 Sunday night in Houston here on TNT. New Jersey and New York meeting in the playoffs for the first time since 1983, and the Knicks take it 91-80. Ewing had 25 points, 13 boards. Derek Coleman had 27 points, 10 rebounds, 4 stitches. Knicks up 1-0 Game 2 Sunday afternoon in New York. And Cleveland and Chicago, Scottie Pippen took control of this game in the second half when Cleveland led by 2 at the break. 104-96, the Bulls win it. Pippen had 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. And you just saw the Phoenix Suns beat the Golden State Warriors, who staged a remarkable comeback from a huge deficit, 111-104. Phoenix takes a 1-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors. We'll take you back to Gary and the Goose right after this.